You're tuned in to the Behind the Ears podcast with Uncle Danny and Mr. Chris, because everybody does Disney differently. The Behind the Ears podcast crew would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support. Expedition Roasters is the artisanal roaster of specialty Disney-inspired coffees. Why not brew some of the magic at your home? Some of our coffees include Skipper's Brew, Ghoulish Delight, Enchanted Tiki Coconut, Redhead Rum, and many other unique roasts. Our coffees are certified gluten and allergen-free and feature unique custom artwork by guest artists. Expedition Roasters offers an adventure in every bag. So start your adventure today by visiting us online at expeditionroasters.com. That's expeditionroasters.com. And Behind the Ears listeners, be sure to take advantage of this exclusive offer and save 20% on your first purchase with code EARS20. That's EARS20 at expeditionroasters.com. Brew your happy place. Do you have a little one and don't want to bring your stroller from home? Have you destroyed a stroller in the past from all the wear and tear from a Disney vacation? Well, Kingdom Strollers is a great place to rent a great quality stroller at a reasonable price. Kingdom Strollers is a Disney-featured stroller provider, which means they will deliver it right to your resort, even if you're not there. Same thing for picking it up at the end of your trip. So if you're in need of an affordable stroller rental during your next Orlando trip, consider renting from a Disney-trusted stroller company. Visit kingdomstrollers.com for more information.
Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for joining us here on Behind the Ears podcast. I am Uncle Danny. That is Mr. Chris, doing a bit of a different camera setup for all our live viewers. For you podcast listeners, it's the same old show. With that being said, happy Merry Tuesday, coming off of a holiday weekend, or maybe you're still on a holiday, depending on what you believe in. But Mr. Chris, without further ado, how are you?
Well, I did the whole preamble type of thing and basically said that, we're trying some new things and something was bound to go wrong. And lo and behold, sure enough, I look over there, I saw a warning message pop up on my screen. The SD card that I had all of our pre-roll audio, for some reason it basically failed on me. I'm like, oh, that's just absolutely great. So, I'll just go ahead and say to those listeners, Kingdom Strollers is the place to go get your strollers. Get them over at kingdomstrollers.com. We will definitely have the pre-roll fully in within our podcast episode itself. But that's okay. Little things like this happen. We're just real people putting on a real show for real listeners just like you. And hey, stuff happens. They always say that, it's not necessarily what happens, it's how you handle it. I just have to handle it with a smile and a grin and a thumbs up because it is what it is sometimes. But we'll get that fixed. It's all good. So, Danny, how are you doing, man? Did you have a good holiday weekend?
I ate like a king. I literally felt so bad for the buttons on my shirt because they were working overtime on Sunday.
Stressing them out, huh?
Oh, yeah. But besides that, it was a nice little weekend. I had a lot of family over. Work's been, hectic, but part of the game. We have a lot of things we're going to talk about today. Well, maybe not a lot, but we have a good amount. Chris is going to do a little quick book review. I'm not going to give you a spoil what book it is. I'm going to let him do that since it's his little thingy. We have the Toy Story tiering, and we have a little bit of other Disney news. So, Chris, I'm actually, when you told me today that you want to do this book review, and I have not been able to read this book, I was kind of really interested. So if you don't mind, would you like to start with that?
I will be more than happy to start with this. I'm actually really looking forward to talking a little bit about this. So we have some friends over at TMR Studios, Ryan and Stacy Lehman. And Ryan's been on our show before. He is a fabulous magician, and he does magic around the parks just for fun and so on and so forth. And he's been a friend of the show for quite some time, and we certainly appreciate their friendship and everything else. So a few months back, he started a Kickstarter campaign because they were writing a book, but not just any old book. It was a scavenger hunt type of book specifically designed around Walt Disney World. And in this particular case, this book is for Magic Kingdom. And so, being the procrastinator that I am, I kind of waited until towards the end, kind of by accident, to be honest with you, to see, what kind of interest was going. And I'm like, I really do want this. I'm a big sucker for a good scavenger hunt, especially around Disney. I mean, you love doing hidden Mickeys. Well, this is going to expand that from what I can tell. So here's the fun part. For those of you who watched my coffee break show yesterday, which is kind of an impromptu, came in the mail. I was not expecting it. And by the way, I do want to basically specifically state that this is not a paid advertisement or anything like that. I paid for this. I was a part of the Kickstarter campaign. So this came out of my own money in order to bring this to you. So here it is. It is the Walt Jones Scavenger Hunt. Explore the Magic Kingdom like never before. If it's your first time at the park, learn a ton of historical facts, tips for navigating, and excellent planning advice everything to make you a Disney pro in no time. Now, this is a really cool little book, and it's not that thick, but I will tell you this. Very nicely done. It pretty much takes you all the way from the beginning of the Magic Kingdom, and it has it has 6, or I should say 7, total of 7 little adventures that you can do. Now, if you have done anything like the Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom, it's one of those cases. Yeah, I'm having a hard time talking. It's one of those cases where you do this as something to kill a little bit of time in the parks or while you're walking around in the parks. You can do it either way. So it's one of those things that you can actually use this to supplement some of your time. Now, the way that I read through pretty much the entire book today, and it's got everything from some crossword puzzles to some hidden Mickeys to some trivia, to, it's got puzzles, navigation challenges, and the best way I can describe it is that, first off, it's very nicely illustrated, and it's kind of like done in a, I say Indiana Jones motif, so to speak. So instead of having like pictures, there are like sketches for the illustrations, which I think gives a lot of authenticity feel to it, so to speak, as if some adventurer was jotting these things down for you. I think it's well written, and I think each one of these adventures, wouldn't take up too much time, but it's not necessarily super simple. So it's going to take a little bit of time to do, just enough time to get you through a particular land over at the Magic Kingdom. Now, the interesting part to it, now mind you, I have not talked to Ryan about this specifically. We hope to have him over on our marathon show coming up. We'll give more information about that later. Best way I can describe it is that this is designed for families. Now, granted, adults will enjoy this. I plan on using this during my next trip. But I think I can see where families can really have a fun time with this. And when I say families, I'm referring to, with kids that are probably 5-7 years old, someone who can understand some basic instructions all the way through probably, early teen years for sure, or, maybe teen years if they've never been to Disney before. Definitely, this is one of those cases where if you're a Disney veteran, it'll probably be really simple to do a lot of these things, but there are still some nice challenges as well. But I see this as a really solid, adventure book, a very solid scavenger hunt type of book. I think that if you want something to do and you want to have some fun to walk around Walt Disney World, especially the Magic Kingdom, this is definitely something to look into. Now, I talked to Ryan earlier today, and I asked him if this was actually readily available right now. And he said, not right now, but I think he said it would probably be next week sometime. And he said that he would get me links to, where this could be found. once it is available to the general public. So I will definitely pass this around. He also said that if he's able to come on the show, he may actually have a giveaway. I think this is going to be a hit for young families. For the Kickstarter campaign, it was not all that expensive, and I think, I think this is going to be a really cool addition to your backpack as you go into the Magic Kingdom. It's just got a good feel. It's easy to read. It's easy to understand. And I think that they did a really whiz-bang job on it. So I know that, Ryan, I see that you're actually watching. Congratulations on the release of your book, my friend. It's going to be cool. I really can't wait to actually, use it with my family. I haven't really showed my kids yet because I don't want them to start filling in different things because they've been around. I want them to have some fun because the next time we go, we're actually bringing someone who's never been to Walt Disney World with us. And I kind of want to use this to kind of guide some of our...
Uncle Danny.
Not you.
Oh, shucks. I tried.
Mr. Casey. But yeah, I think it's really going to be cool. So Ryan's going to give me some information on the book, like where you can get it.
Is the Kickstarter closed for that?
Kickstarter is closed for that, so it's no longer available through the Kickstarter. There are other people that I saw through Facebook, that other people who were a part of the Kickstarter campaign were just receiving their books. I received mine yesterday. Some people received theirs today. I suppose it depends on where you are in the United States, as well as that sort of thing. So I know that's being taken care of. Kickstarter is closed, but I'm sure that it'll be available soon in an easy manner. So
interesting. That sounds really cool. I'm looking forward to being able to dive in and read that, and actually more than read it, actually try and do it. I don't have a family, but I actually I might have a trip. Not, what to say. I don't know. I'm not gonna put any notions out there. Just good vibes, but I'm working on a trip.
You don't want to jinx it, huh?
No, gosh, no.
I get it. You don't want to jinx it, and I know that I'm trying to still get a trip in for Toy Story Land as a solo trip, because it doesn't necessarily correspond with my other trip. But we'll just have to see how it all goes. But yeah, it'll be kind of interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, so super cool with that.
Yeah, it is really cool. I look forward to it.
To shift gears here,
sure.
I'd like to touch on 2 Toy Story tidbits. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is this tiering system.
Oh gosh.
Now, with the tiering system, none of this has been confirmed by Disney. I can't find it said by Disney. I have found it from pretty solid sources that this is going to be the new tiering system, but it's nothing is set in stone. So right now, the tiering system would be, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Rockin' Rollercoaster and Toy Story Midway Mania. Those are your 2 tier 1s. Everything else falls into the tier 2. Am I correct?
You know what? I didn't see. I'm actually trying to pull it up right now on my second screen. I did not see Rockin' Rollercoaster on that tier 1.
That was what I was trying to get at. So basically, if I'm correct, those 2 are the only tier 1s. Now, you might say to yourself, hey, what are you talking about? This is tier nonsense. Well, Epcot does. The only park who doesn't do it is Magic Kingdom, if I believe. Yeah, Magic Kingdom's the only one who doesn't do the tier system. So what it is basically, if you got tier 1 and tier 2, you're allowed to pick 1 from tier 1 and then 2 from tier 2. So basically, because they don't want people gobbling up all the major attractions in one of these tier parks, so they try to space it out a little bit. So it used to be Toy Story Midway Mania and also Rockin' Rollercoaster. Now, with Toy Story opening,
it's going to be... Go ahead.
Okay. It's going to be the Alien Swirling Saucers, which I am shocked that that's up there. The Slinky Dog Dash and Toy Story Midway Mania is staying up there. And Rockin' Rollercoaster is dropping down to a Toy Story, to a tier 2. Literally, you can get Slinky Dog, Rockin' Rollercoaster Tower of Terror. That is a solid afternoon at MGM.
Actually, the thing is, yeah, it would be. It really actually would be. Now that I'm kind of thinking about it, but I saw this proposed. I'm going to say proposed because it's not. Nothing is 100% here yet. But you look at this, and what they're trying to do is they're just trying to balance out people, from spending the entire day in Toy Story Land. That's the biggest thing. I mean, you do your tier 1, go do your tier 2s, and then hopefully you can get another tier 1 item. But unfortunately, I still don't know how that's really going to help. Take into consideration, there are people that will be more than happy to do that, but they're just going to turn around, do their 2 tier 2s, go back into Toy Story Land, and wait in line for everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong. It's not really a criticism. It's an observation. I mean, it's kind of how I see how this could very well play out. I mean, if you think about it, Toy Story Midway Mania, ever since they added that 3rd track, I think it was done really, really well because it really smoothed out the lines of that particular attraction. It's one of those things, and I think it's actually really good. And, now, people are going to be hitting the Slinky Dog Dash as probably the hot one out of those 3. That's me.
Yeah, it's just, it's wild that you would put the saucers up there above Rockin' Rollercoaster. Now, and I've never ridden the saucers. No one has ridden the saucers. But from everything that I've seen, it's just another spinner attraction. I mean, you're putting one of probably. I mean, it's the only. Yeah, that's the only roller coaster in Disney that has a loop.
Rockin' Rollercoaster? Yeah.
Yeah. You're taking that off the up tier. I mean, I'm all for it, man. Like I said, I want to make a t-shirt for it because that's a great day at MGM. If you can do Slinky Dog, Tower of Terror, and Rockin' Rollercoaster, and then you know what? Then you just go wait in line for Toy Story Mania. And if you can't get on Toy Story Mania, at the end of the day, guess what? You can go do Buzz Lightyear. I know it's different, people. I get it. I know Buzz Lightyear's Space Spin is different, but it's not that far off.
Yeah, I think it's going to work out. But you know what's going to happen? After things kind of smooth out, they're going to change it. They're going to change the tiers, just like they've changed some tiering before on some of the other, for some of the other parks. They're going to do it to help balance out supply and demand.
Well, you guys everybody's talking about, is Slinky Dog going to be as aggressive as a ride? No, I mean, they basically came out and told you right off the bat, it's a family roller coaster. But, could they change the tiering system because they just want to, front load all of Toy Story? Sure. But at the same time, how long has Pandora been open? We're coming up on a year. The Navi River ride is still up there. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, everybody knows. What's this way of putting it? Now, Navi River ride can still be a 90-minute wait. That's the really funny and interesting part is that could actually still be a 90-minute wait, and people still wait in it. And I'm not saying it's not worth it, but
it's not. No. I'm not here to pull punches. It's not a 90-minute wait. It's not. Personal opinion, okay, yeah. But still, in my opinion, listen, it's our show. We get to make our opinions bold. It's not a 90-minute wait. I wouldn't give you an hour wait. I'd give you a 30-minute. I would give you a 30-minute just because of, the movement of animatronics in that ride. 30 minutes, okay. Anything longer than that, this is outlandish, I know. But is it really any different than Living with the Land? Both similarity-wise, you know what I mean? Like, all right, is it? All right, that's actually, you know what? I take that back. I'm going to pull the punch. I'm going to apologize. Living with the Land was a bad example. Is it any different than Frozen?
That's a very interesting dynamic you just made there. Personally, here's my take. 30 to 45 minutes would be the most I would probably wait for it if I was going to do it for the first time and I knew I wasn't going to be able to see it again for a long time. If I go by myself, I'm not going to sit here and say, wait an hour and a half for it if you're not going to see it again ever or anything else like that. And to be honest with you, if I see it more than 45 minutes, now that I've seen it once, I will do something else.
Yeah.
I will certainly go anywhere else in Animal Kingdom. I will definitely go to Salui Canteen and get myself some of those cool pod. I almost said Tide Pods. That's not
cheese.
I was gonna say pod, lunch or something like that. I'm careful of what I'm gonna say. But no, I mean it is gorgeous. It's visually stunning. I mean, to be honest with you, to me, the visual effects of Nevi River Ride kind of equates to the first time I saw Avatar on a really good high definition TV. It is eye candy. That's about it.
I had a conversation with somebody because I used to work in a movie theater when Pandora for an Avatar came out, and I know I'm gonna get slammed for this next statement, but I'm well prepared for it. I didn't think Avatar was that good of a storyline. I thought the color aspect and just the CGI was phenomenal. Something crazy. It was eye candy, as you would say. I didn't think the plot was that good to deserve an entire land in Disney. Personal preference. Listen, Chris, you had, me and you had talked about when they first really started talking about Pandora and whatnot. We were months away, a year out from it opening. Till this day, do I think Pandora is a much needed added land? I would, we'll word it that way. Inside of Animal Kingdom, sure, absolutely, Animal Kingdom needed it. But I think right off the bat, Flight of Passage, boom, ballpark, grand slam, great attraction. I think they messed up with the ride vehicle a little bit, for not being able to accommodate everybody. And I say that actually seriously because if you're in a wheelchair, you can't really enjoy that ride. And I think that's an issue. Or, for people with the bigger, I know we can't accommodate it's a huge spectrum, and I'm painting a very broad brush here. I just personally think that they messed up with the ride vehicle a little bit. But when it came to the Navi River ride, I'll keep it clean and nice. It left me wanting something more.
Well, you and I have talked about this before, and I'll go ahead and say it. I didn't think it had that much of a story. And I think all Disney attractions have to have a story. In fact, if you think about it, every other Disney attraction has some sort of story behind it. And, if you watch any kind of, show, documentary about, Disney attractions, and it has an Imagineer, one of the first things they talk about is the story. That's how they start out, is the story. And, I thought, it was eye candy. It was beautiful. It really didn't fit into, well, maybe this was part of the purpose of it. It was not necessarily something based off of the movie. It was something that could be like a continuance of life on Pandora. Whereas the Flight of Passage, while not a part of the movie itself, it depicted a custom scene based upon a theme that was in the movie. And that was actually, that was really pretty hardcore. And by the way, you're right, because when you talk about the ride vehicle, because the first time I rode it, I'll be honest with you, I'm a big guy. I was really concerned. My friend Larry and I both were really concerned that we were going to have to do the walk of shame. And the test vehicle outside basically said I was going to have to do the walk of shame. The second time, I went ahead and I tried it anyway. I did it. Second time was even easier. It just seems like the ride vehicles are awesome, but I also know that I gained some weight over the past year. I know I'm going to have to lose that weight in the next, several months. Because don't forget, I'm going sometime between now and Christmas, and I've got to be able to ride it again. So
yeah, you know what? I'll wait. My personal preference for Flight of Passage, I will gladly pass on Navi, take the fast passes. That's fine. To me, I'm still going over Everest though. I'll ride Everest 7 times, and you know what? I love the fact that they built Pandora for one reason. Everest lines have been phenomenal every time I'm there. I've never waited more than 20 minutes on Everest, and I think Everest is so underrated. It's such a fantastic ride and way better at night. But that's for another time.
Yeah, for another conversation. But I will tell you, I think going back to the whole Toy Story bit, I think there's one difference between Toy Story Land and Pandora, though. I still think they're going to add something to Pandora. Don't ask me how, don't ask me when, don't ask me where. I still think that they're going to plus it even more with another attraction of some sort. I just don't know how, just don't know when. Whereas Toy Story Land, I think, is more landlocked than I think we give it credit for. And you're going to have 3 attractions. You're going to have, shopping. You're going to have some dining. It's going to be really neat. I think it's not necessarily going to be. I think it's going to be very much driven towards a younger crowd, and those of us who have seen Toy Story when it first came out. But other than that, it's going to be a really good. It's going to be a really good addition to Hollywood Studios. The funny part about it is that, we know that it's going to really turn Hollywood Studios around. And at the same time, I think, once Galaxy's Edge is in there, Hollywood Studios is going to be an entirely different type of park.
My favorite park is finally coming back to me. But to stay to come back to the Toy Story, beginning April 9th, some of the ride tracks will be closed for work. So the Fast Pass line will be closed. So this literally only leaves the standby line for availability. So once again, April 9th. So we're recording this on the 3rd. It should get released probably very close to the 9th, if not just after. So unfortunately, if you didn't hear it till after the 9th, we're sorry. But if you're hearing it now, we're doing you a solid here. The work is expected to be completed by May 7th, which will then see the Fast Pass line reopen for operation. And then on June 30th, the entrance to Toy Story Mania will be permanently moved to the Pixar Place to the new Toy Story Land. So keep that in mind. If you're online, you're trying to get, Fast Passes for April 8th. April 10th, and you're like, hey, what's going on? That is why they might have sold out either way, but they won't now. So Toys Mania usually has a ridiculously long line as it is. This is going to make it 10 times worse.
Well, I'm trying to figure out, where are they going to put the entrance then? I understand what they're trying to do, but I'm really actually trying to sit here and figure out where or how are they going to move that entrance over? What is that queue going to look like when they finally move it over and stuff like that?
Bring Mr. Potato Head back.
When they took Mr. Potato Head out, I was really, really saddened. And it's like, I understand why they took Mr. Potato Head out for that 3rd track, but it didn't seem like it ate too much into that.
Not enough.
It ate maybe half that space, but I didn't think Mr. Potato Head was that bulky where they had to have that much space between guests and where he was. You can almost touch Buzz Lightyear in Space Ranger Spin, he does his little thing. And so
I've touched him. I've literally had the one in the queue.
What, Buzz?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Literally probably should have been thrown out. I basically had to climb over the railing, but I got him. You know what my goal is? If I could have a superpower and I could be invisible, I would, or if I was just a tiny little kid again, I would love to squeeze behind the bars to hang out with Zurg in the exit. Always want to hang out with Zurg over there. He looks so cool. I always said if I could buy something, I'd buy him, I'd buy the Buzz, and I would buy that entire kiosk with all the aliens. When you see it on top of, what is that?
Yeah, I know exactly where
you know what I mean? Right over by Joffrey's. But so anything, now I'm going to move to a different topic. Are you good on the whole Toy Story?
Yeah, I'm pretty cool with that. So, um,
You posted something,
I did.
and it got me looking at it. It was this digital key that's coming to Walt Disney World Resort.
Oh yeah.
Have you done some research into this?
I haven't done too much research into it for specifically to Disney, but there are others that have done this, other hotel chains that have actually done this, where you use it's either Bluetooth or NFC near field communication on your phone itself, that as well as GPS to give you your location, where you can actually use your key or excuse me, use their app as a key to unlock your door. Now, I had an older phone, so the last time I actually had a chance to do this, it didn't work with my phone. So I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. But like a lot of Hilton hotels are actually becoming more and more equipped with what they're referring to as a digital key. So taking that into consideration, Disney moving to this, to me, is not really a surprise. This is one of those things where it just gives guests another option to use their phone, use their app in order to do something. Now, here's the thing. I try to stay somewhat disconnected, but I have my Magic Band. Why do I need my phone now to do this sort of thing? I usually have my phone stuck in my camera bag, and I usually have it in a zippered pocket. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get it out. So I have my Magic Band, and that works just fine. Why would I want to do anything else with it? So that's my 2 cents on that particular item. But I could see, like, someone made a comment, does this mean that someone from like a local friend can come over, and could they actually use their digital key in order to get in this, that, and the other? Oh, I don't think so. I kind of made a comment that I have a feeling that they're going to have I'll say some sort of verification ability to do it. And someone made a comment, I wonder how soon it's going to be until they someone gets it hacked or whatever.
They've said that about the Magic Bands too, though.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's
I guess this is easier than the Magic Band, but
there's that possibility. But the thing is that there's so much that these technologies can do, and there's so much that you have to know in order to override the security that's a part of it.
Yeah.
And I personally don't think that's really going to be that big of a whoop-de-doo of a deal. Someone made a comment about Disney tracking a person. Disney tracks everybody as it is through one way, shape, or form. And I don't mean that in any other way than observationally. Don't do anything stupid. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it's that simple. Like, listen, this is not like, oh my God, the Big Brother's watching. They all know what you're doing. Okay, I'm going to fill you in on a little piece of information. And you may know this, you may not. And I cannot divulge how I know this information, but let me just tell you that I know it is 100% accurate.
What's that?
On top of Tower of Terror, there is a camera that can zoom in and see your license plate when you're pulling into Magic Kingdom.
Don't doubt that at all.
So when I tell you that they know everything that goes on, they know everything that goes on. There's a reason why people have never been able to crash and stay the entire night inside the park. Trust me when I tell you, they've got the technology. But for this key thing, is going to be first rolled out. Now, I'm not seeing a date. I've heard a couple rumors that actually within the next couple weeks we could see it. It's going to come to the Wilderness Lodge first. If you have not already, head on over to the WDW community page. I literally just posted the digital key video from Disney itself. Basically, it's going to unlock everything. It can unlock your room, the entrance gate, common areas, pools, fitness centers, elevators, club level lounges, everything. And I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second. And I think they might be doing this as a more of a maintenance issue, because how many times have you walked up and I've had to scan my Magic Band 3 times to get into a room? And I think over the time, people rubbing it and everything, those interfaces, not only in the Magic Band, but on the door locking mechanism, go out. And I've had plenty. I mean, I've had personally where then you got to walk back down to the lobby, oh, hey, listen, my Magic Band's not working. Okay, let's reset it. Let's try something else, where say you're on the opposite end, say you're by the carousel at Saratoga. You're far from the club. You're far from the main gate, right? You use your electronic key. It doesn't work. You could easily call the front desk, and I guarantee you they could set a remote signal over to your phone, and boom, you can get right in.
Probably something to that extent. I mean, I don't see it to be a problem. I have a feeling that they're going to be able to do this to help enhance the ability for a guest to get into their room without having to stop at the front desk. And, but I'll tell you right now, even with online check-in, I'm only batting about 50% of being able to get to my room without stopping by front desk. That's okay. But, overall, if they can make the guests happier, it's worth it. So that's what I see.
Yeah. It's as long as they don't completely take away the availability of just using the Magic Band instead of your phones, I think we're okay. I think once you go completely one way or the other, that's when you might see an issue. At the end of the day, people didn't like the fact, I don't want to wear this wristband. I have a watch. My wrists are sweaty. I don't want a tan line. People freaked out about the Magic Bands when they first came out. And now everybody loves Magic Bands. Now you can decorate them. You can take the pod off. You can do a million things with these things. And now, once again, they feel like they're being, taken away. My thing is, I don't think you can ever take it away, is because if your phone dies,
which can easily happen with or without a portable charger. I don't care who you are. You forget your portable charger one day, your phone is toast by the end of the day. And, but they made it clear, very clear. You can still use your Magic Band. They will still give you a room key if you want it. This isn't going to be like the only way to get into your room. So if you don't want to use your phone, rest assured, it's not going to be a problem. So that's cool.
And my little last tidbit of information for the day is actually back to somewhat Toy Story in a weird way. Toy Story characters are taking over Disney's Typhoon Lagoon water park for an unforgettable nighttime pool party. And this is starting on June 21st. So for everybody who's going to yell, yes, I am about to turn my head and read this. You could start making plans to join some of the favorite Toy Story characters. And this is during the Disney H2O Glow Nights. We've talked briefly on this once or twice before, but tickets are now on sale for this After Dark event, which is in part of the incredible summer coming to Walt Disney World. Tickets are $55 plus tax for ages 10 and up, and $50 for children ages 3 to 9. On Thursday and Saturday evenings from the 21st of June through August 11th, Rex and his Toy Story pals will transform Typhoon Lagoon into never before by throwing a glow party in the surf pool and throughout the park. Rex will serve as a host and invite guests of all ages to join the festivities. They're not really saying who else is going to be there, but I am seeing that Disney's H2O Glow Nights is one of the many new exciting experiences coming to Walt Disney World Resort. The 20th anniversary of Disney's Animal Kingdom, including Up, a great bird adventure beginning April 22nd, and Donald's Dino Bash starting Memorial Day weekend. The incredible Tomorrowland Expo at Magic Kingdom featuring characters from The Incredibles will begin May 25th. The Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Mix Live concert series at Epcot beginning June 9th. And once again, launch of Toy Story Land at Disney's Hollywood Studios June 30th.
It's like that week moving into the opening of Toy Story Land. They've got a lot of stuff. It's like it's just going to crescendo into an awesome chaos. I'll put it that way.
This is my only thing with that. Sounds cool. Sounds
Yeah.
great. Would love to do it. Not going to be able to do it. 55 is not a terrible price. I would like to check the hours before I make that justification for it. The summer nights is definitely going to be, it'll still be probably what is Florida summer nights? Got to be low 80s, upper 70s. It's going to be well warm enough to be in the pools.
I've done the DVC, special events at the water parks before at night. It is plenty warm.
Oh,
it is, I mean, yeah, you're not gonna get cold over that type of thing. And I mean, the only way that it could feel cold is if you get out of the water and like it's very breezy. Then of course you can feel a little bit chillier, but it's really not big of a whoop-de-doo.
Here's my concern with all of that. I love Rex. I'm a big fan of Rex. How is Rex hosting the party though? What
I don't know.
Out of all the other characters, like I know Rex does get a major disrespect inside the park. I get it. But I guess they want to hold off, Woody and Buzz for Toy Story Land. You know what? I'm gonna take back my comment. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, Rex, you have fun. Because I was gonna go with Mr. Potato Head, but I think he's gonna play a pivotal role in Toy Story Land opening day, if you ask me.
I think it's gonna be kind of interesting. I mean, Rex is a little bit uncanny of a character to that sort of thing, but it's got to be funny.
I mean, he's got that goofy mentality.
Well, I could see Rex there. I'd like to shake your hand, but it's a little over here. That's it's like I really wanted to do a whole bunch, but I've got big head and small arms, and I didn't. I don't think people thought this through. Oh wait, that's from Meet the Robinsons. Yeah. Never mind.
But yeah, that's everything I have for everybody tonight. Carol, that is a really good point. She thinks Moana would have been great for the Glow Nights, and I would have agreed.
I could definitely see that. I mean, Moana, I think you talk about a character that's not getting enough love in the parks. I think Moana, herself is not represented too well at the parks right now.
No.
Huh?
I said no, she does not.
Yeah. So, I mean, I that's just my 2 cents. I don't think that she's getting enough love or FaceTime with guests and so on. And I think that's kind of a bummer because she was such a good character, a very good role model, and technically a princess. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah, that's an argument for another time.
It is, and I purposely did it that way.
Do you have anything else you wanted to touch on? Anything you wanted to talk about before we start wrapping up here?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't have too many other things I'd want to talk about. I know that I do want to tell people that we've got we're coordinating a real special show on Thursday to talk to a couple of our listeners that have been dealing with the Easter crowds. And there is a small chance that we might even have a special Saturday, sometime during the daytime show, to talk with a former cast member about her experiences on dealing with Easter crowds. So it should be really cool to talk about that as we start winding down the spring break season at Walt Disney World.
I do look forward to that because I've been seeing some gnarly pictures of what's going on inside the parks right now, and it looks madhouse.
Dude, I saw pictures of like around Thunder and Splash today, and it was a wall of to wall people. Like you can't see the ground. And I've been during spring break before, and I will say it was like 2 weeks before Easter, and it wasn't all that bad, but that's pretty intense.
Yeah, to me, it's too much. That's just, I don't know. Like, I just don't want to be one of those people, because I saw someone like, what did someone say today? I forgot who it was. If I paid $5,000 to $10,000 for my trip, my family trip, and this is the crowds, I'd be mad. Well, or then it basically read on like, well, make sure that you talk to us and figure out when the best time to go to Disney is. I'm like, all right, this is an oddity. These weeks are, there's a handful of these throughout the year. Disney is busy. There is no dead time anymore. I really would love to do the research and really break down, because I think that's just such a overused statement that there's go during the non-busy times. There's not. I guess it really depends on your personal idea of what not busy looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you bring that up. I just got a notification today that it's time to renew my touringplans.com subscription, and I am going to renew it because it is a great tool to use to try to figure out crowd calendars and so on. But it would be interesting to really see some of the variances that they've had over the past few years as you get to, well, what's the best way of putting it? You compare this week with like past weeks, and then also this week and past weeks in the past 5 consecutive years, and you see how it's changed. I mean, you and I were talking about how a really good time, and it's still a really good time to go, is like late September, early October, and it still is a good time to go.
But there's still people in that park, though.
Yeah, I mean, are you going to see 30-minute wait times for Splash Mountain? Probably not. Are you going to see 30-minute waits for Space Mountain? Probably not. But, the fact is that you may see 45 minutes to an hour. And I think eventually we're going to have to change our mindset to say 45 minutes to an hour. I don't have a fast pass. Okay, I'll do it. And but the thing is, it's like we're all having to change in our mentality, and we should actually do a show sometime in the near future to prepare for the summer crowds mentally. Because I think this summer is going to be a real test to see how things turn out around the lines of crowd calendar. I mean, come on, let's face it. After June 30th, Hollywood Studios is just going to be a madhouse everywhere you go. And because what's going to happen. Everybody's going to be going for Toy Story, but they're going to be going over to Rockin' Rollercoaster. They're going to be, jamming into Tower of Terror. They're going to be filling up the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular. They're going to be jamming Star Tours. Even Muppet Vision 3D will probably end up having a wait.
Here's
yeah.
It's if we think that June 30th and on is going to be bad, what do you think Star Wars is going to be like? And then we're not going to get into it because literally we're at the end of our show here. So I'll do this. I'm going to pose that question. We're going to put it on the community. Keep it realistic. Don't get outlandish on me. But we know how busy Toy Story is going to be. How busy can we really expect Star Wars?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, Star Wars is going to be like, Toy Story Land. Hey, we're going to be bringing back Hollywood Studios on the map. Star Wars Land, or Galaxy's Edge would be like, hey, hold my drink, watch this.
Yeah. You're drunk, Martha. Sit down. It's gonna, you're gonna see crazy lines for Toy Story, and then Star Wars, and everybody had like the funny memes that were going on from Frozen. This is going to make Frozen look like child's play, Galaxy's Edge is gonna be unbelievable. Just what? Stay away. Just stay away. There's no need to be there for that. Stay away. But we will save that for another.
Yeah.
Oops. Pulled myself away.
I totally get it.
So with that being said, everybody, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. Facebook is Behind the Ears Podcast, Instagram Behind the Ears Podcast, and Twitter Behind the Ears PC. Any listener questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to email us at behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow our YouTube channel, Behind the Ears Podcast, and Trisha would kill me if I didn't tell you. Please head on over to Facebook and like our group, the WDW community page. We are approaching 4,000 members. With that being said, everybody, how can I forget? Silly me. iTunes, rate and review. It takes 10 seconds, people. 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, how many stars you want. Just throw the stars up there. Put a line in there. Hey, I love Chris and Danny. Hey, I don't like Danny. I don't like his hat. That's fine. That's cool. It's still a review. I'm happy. With that being said, I am Uncle Danny. I am signing out. Don't forget, tuck your kids in tight, wear that seatbelt, sip that cranberry juice. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you again on Thursday.
And I'm Mr. Chris. Thanks again for joining us, and we're really glad that you're here. I'll tell you what, while you're rating and reviewing, don't forget to subscribe to the show. You can do that through iTunes, Apple Podcasts. You can do it through Podbean, which is where we're hosted now. Great app, by the way. Also, you can find us over at iHeartRadio, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio. You can ask Alexa to play us. You can also ask any of the Google devices to play us. You can ask, Google Music to play us. It's all good. You can find us there. And don't forget, if you go out and take a look at us at any of those platforms, don't forget to give us a like. It's great when you like it on the Facebook pages, but it's even better when you like us over at Podbean, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, etc. It really helps us out. Well, thanks again for joining us. We're really glad that you're here. And until we meet again, we hope you have an absolutely magical day. Take care.